Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Mackenzie. I'm a digital accessibility specialist at Accessible Web, and welcome to this session on choosing the correct semantic role. In this presentation, we'll briefly explore the importance of semantic roles in web development and how they improve accessibility. Using these roles ensures that assistive technologies like screen readers can understand the structure and function of a web page, providing a better experience for users with disabilities. So semantic roles are essentially labels that define the purpose of HTML elements on a web page. They help assistive technologies understand the content's meaning and make it easier for users to navigate a website. Correct use of semantic roles improves both accessibility and SEO, providing meaningful structure to the page. There are several types of semantic roles, and we'll cover some common examples of each briefly. These include widget roles for interactive elements, ARIA roles for advanced accessibility, document structure and landmark roles that organize content, form roles for input, and media roles for multimedia. Widget roles define interactive elements that users can engage with. Here are a few common examples. The button role defines a clickable button used for submitting forms or actions. The A or link role represents hyperlinks for navigation. The input type equals checkbox is a role for a checkable box for making multiple selections. The input type equals radio is for radio buttons that allow users to select one option from a group. Interactive widget roles are critical for defining how users interact with elements like buttons, links, checkboxes, and radio buttons. They ensure assistive technologies correctly identify these elements and communicate their purpose to users. Understanding these basic roles is essential for creating accessible interactive components, and they form the building blocks of a more complex widgets and interactions. ARIA roles are used when native HTML elements aren't enough to fully describe an element's function. Here are a few common examples. The dialog represents a modal or pop-up window, whereas a modal is a special type of dialog that disables interaction with the rest of the page until it's closed. The combo box combines a text input with a list box, allowing users to select or type options, often used with attributes like ARIA expanded to indicate whether the list box is open. A radio group groups related radio buttons, making the relationship clear to assistive technologies, and it's used with attributes like ARIA labeled by to define the group's label. ARIA attributes are often used alongside these roles to provide more context. For example, ARIA labeled by defines the element that labels the modal, combo box, or radio group. ARIA hidden hides elements from assistive technologies when they're not meant to be accessed. ARIA expanded indicates whether an interactive element like a combo box is expanded or collapsed, and ARIA described by points to additional descriptive text for an element. These roles and attributes help ensure that dynamic content and complex user interfaces are accessible to everyone. Document structure roles and landmark roles essentially serve the same purpose. They define the layout and key regions of web pages, helping users, especially those relying on assistive technologies, understand and navigate the content efficiently. The main difference is that document structure roles are part of native HTML, while landmark roles come from ARIA. For example, the native header element inherently has the role of banner, while nav maps to the navigation role. Similarly, main corresponds to ARIA main role, and footer often takes on the content info landmark role. If you use native HTML elements like header or main, they automatically provide the appropriate role, so you don't need to explicitly add ARIA attributes. However, if you're using custom elements or divs for layout, you should use ARIA landmark roles like role equals banner or role equals main to provide the same semantic meaning. Ultimately, both approaches ensure content is well structured and accessible. The best practice is to use native HTML whenever possible, as it's simpler, more intuitive, and better supported across browsers and assistive technologies. Reserve ARIA roles for cases where native HTML isn't sufficient. Form semantic roles make input elements more accessible. Here are a few commonly used roles. The form element groups form controls for user input. The label associates text with form controls for easier understanding. Field set groups related inputs for better structure. Legend provides a title for form groups. Form semantic roles provide essential structure to input elements, making forms easier to understand and navigate for all users. Well-structured forms reduce errors and create a smoother experience for everyone, including users of assistive technology. Media semantic roles help structure multimedia content like images, audio, and video. Here are a few common examples. The figure role wraps media content like images or diagrams. Fig caption provides a caption for the media describing its purpose. Audio and video embed sound and video content on the page. Media semantic roles provide context and structure for multimedia elements like images, video, and audio, and using roles like figure and fig caption enhances accessibility by giving users, including those using assistive technologies, more context about the content. And properly structured media content ensures it is meaningful and useful to all users, regardless of how they access it. So which semantic role should I choose? When selecting a semantic role, focus on the element's purpose and how users are meant to interact with it, rather than how it looks. Semantic roles are essential for communicating the function of elements to assistive technologies, ensuring a more inclusive and accessible experience. Native HTML roles like button, link, and heading are widely supported and should always be your first choice. These roles provide predictable behavior and meaning without requiring additional complexity. If your design requires functionality that native roles cannot provide, ARIA roles can be used, but they should be applied carefully and only when necessary. It's crucial to ensure that the roles you choose match the intended interaction and behavior of the element. Misusing roles can lead to confusion and reduce accessibility for users relying on assistive technologies. Additionally, maintaining consistency in how roles are applied throughout your interface helps create a predictable and user-friendly experience. Let's take a look at a common scenario where a link is visually styled as a button, but still functions as a link. A link's primary purpose is navigation, taking users to another page, section, or resource. For instance, a Learn More link that takes users to a detailed page should always use the A tag or the link tag with an href attribute, even if it's styled to look like a button. In this case, ensure the semantic role of the element remains consistent with its function. Use CSS to apply styles that make the link resemble a button visually, but don't change its role. For example, you might add rounded corners to a background color, a background color, or hover effects to give it a button-like appearance. And the same principle applies when styling buttons as links. Their function should dictate their role. Maintaining the correct semantic role ensures users with assistive technologies understand the purpose of the element and can interact with it appropriately. This approach creates a predictable and accessible experience, no matter how an element looks visually. In summary, semantic roles are the foundation for building accessible and well-structured websites. They define the function and structure of content, enabling assistive technologies to convey the right information to users. Throughout this presentation, we covered key role types like document structure, landmark roles, forms, widgets, and media. Each play a specific role in enhancing accessibility and usability. Prioritize native HTML roles as they are simpler, widely supported, and effective, and use ARIA roles only when native roles are insufficient to meet your design needs. And consistency is key to creating predictable and intuitive experiences for users, especially those relying on assistive technologies. Accessibility benefits everyone, improving the overall experience. Thank you for your time, and I hope this presentation has provided clarity on how to choose and apply semantic roles effectively.
Awesome. Thanks, Mackenzie.